Which Nespresso single-serve espresso machine is best for you? The Nespresso VertuoLine, which is the newest machine, or the Nespresso DeLonghi Lattissima Plus? Well, we're going to help you to answer that question today on Aromacup.com. Hi everyone, I'm Brian with Aromacup.com, and thank you as always for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. Now, as I said in the intro, the question today is, what's better for your at-home coffee shop? A Nespresso VertuoLine, which is the newest single-serve espresso machine from Nespresso, or the Nespresso DeLonghi Lattissima Plus. That one is a mouthful. But it's also a very capable machine. And so what we're going to help you do today is make an informed decision between these two. So there are some similarities, but some very distinct differences. Let's jump in and talk about these two machines side by side. Let's talk about functionality between these two machines, some of the limitations, and where you get a little bit more, a little bit less on each side. With the VertuoLine, you get the ability, of course, to make espresso, and using the coffee capsules, you can make coffee. And that's pretty much all you can do. And the machine does do it pretty well, but that's all that you're going to be able to do. On the Lattissima Plus side, you get, of course, the ability to make espresso. You could make coffee by making an Americano. But additionally, if you add on the milk frothing apparatus to the Lattissima Plus, you can quickly and easily make cappuccinos, lattes, and a multitude of other different beverages using the one machine. So again, that's where the Lattissima Plus sort of knocks it out of the park. Add on to that you get to use Nespresso compatible capsules, such as the ones from Highline Coffee and others that are starting to make themselves known. And of course, you get to use the Nespresso capsules themselves. You get a little bit more range, especially in type of capsule, flavor, and overall beverage types that you get to do with the Lattissima Plus over the VertuoLine. Now, that is certainly something that, again, is worth mentioning, which is that the original line from Nespresso is really ultimately going to save you money and give you more flexibility, especially if you check out some of the capsules by someone like Highline Coffee, who makes an espresso-compatible capsule that is definitely going to save you a lot of money, up to 50 cents per cup in the long run. You're really going to be able to save a lot more money and get a lot more flexibility with the beverages that you're going to make with an original line machine over the VertuoLine at this time. And of course, you're going to be able to really kind of experiment, have a little bit of fun, try out all kinds of different capsules, and save some money in the long run. Now let's talk about the thing that everyone's going to be wondering about the most with these machines is what's the difference in the capsule types between the two, because there is a very distinct difference. Now you're probably very familiar with the Nespresso original line capsules. They look like this. This is an actual Nespresso capsule. Here I have a Nespresso compatible capsule from Highline Coffee, and you can see very similar. These are the capsules we've known for so long and we've been using with all of the Nespresso line. However, with the new VertuoLine, we get the introduction of these new capsules. In my right hand, I have a coffee capsule. You can see it's a little bit bigger. On my left, I have an espresso capsule. These are brand new. They only work with VertuoLine machines. They are only made by Nespresso at this time. And one of the distinct differences about these capsules over the previous ones from the original line is that, of course, not only are they a different shape, and they're going to hold differing amounts of coffee, but they have around their edge, as you're going to see right here, this barcode. And that barcode is actually read by the VertuoLine machine. That tells it how to brew the different types of capsules that you have inserted into the VertuoLine. So that brings you up to speed on the major differences between these capsules, because this is a brand new addition to the Nespresso line, as I say, and we have reviewed this machine in the past, so if you want to see some more in-depth info, you'll want to check that out. That tells you everything you need to know real quickly about capsules for these two machines. Let's talk about brewing espresso with each one of these machines, because it's a little bit different on each machine. Now, on the DeLonghi, the Lattissima Plus, it's very much the same as what we've always been used to with one of our standard Nespresso machines. I'm going to make use of a Highline Coffee Nespresso compatible capsule right here. Drop this into the brew basket, close up my machine on the Lattissima Plus, and of course I'm going to insert a shot glass, and I'm going to brew a single shot of espresso. Now, of course, The Lattissima Plus uses a pressure system. It uses 19 bars of pressure to brew the espresso that you are brewing. It's very quick. It's one button operation, which I've always loved. Here's where things get different with the VertuoLine. And this is something that, again, as I say, you haven't seen this before. Your capsule, of course, is going to insert into your brew basket, and it just simply sits right there. Close up your brew basket, and then you're going to lock it right here by turning this lever all the way to the side. This locks down the lid of the VertuoLine. Of course, then you're going to place your mug or your shot glass, and then all you do is press the one button on the top of the machine. This is where things are different. I'm guessing you guys can probably hear a little bit of that. You heard that whirring happening. This is because the VertuoLine actually uses a centrifuge system, which is spinning the capsule as it is brewing the coffee. So that capsule and the coffee that is in it and the liquid that's flowing through it is all being spun around at a very high rate. And as that is happening, it is brewing the coffee into my mug. Now, it does take a little bit longer. You'll notice that this is taking a little bit longer over what it took me to brew on the Lattissima Plus, and it's a little bit louder. That's a pretty high-pitched whir as the machine finishes up its brew process. The idea here is that you're going to get a more distinct crema between the two. Now, you're going to notice that also I have very differing amounts of coffee right here. Just simply comparing between the two, you can see that there's a huge crema on the VertuoLine. But here's something that I should mention about the difference between these two when it comes to the crema. And this is something that you're only going to notice, I think, if you use this machine, check out our other videos, things like that. The crema that is on the coffee that has come out of the VertuoLine is actually a little bit more of a foam than it is a crema. And that's because of that centrifuge system that actually spins the capsule. Honestly, it's a little bit more of a foam. It's almost like the foam that we get when we foam milk in a milk frother or something like that, except it is, in this case, of course, on an espresso shot. That's a little bit different from the crema that you're going to get from, in this case, the Lattissima Plus, which is the kind of crema we've come to know for so long, which comes from the pressure system inside of our espresso machine. That crema is going to store a little bit of the sweetness that comes out of the coffee. It's not going to be as acidic. And I've found some very distinct differences in flavor between these two, especially because of the fact that, again, the crema from the VertuoLine is kind of more like a foam. It really does change the flavor a little bit. Maybe not adversely, it's going to be up to you ultimately, but I have seen very distinct differences in the flavor. So if you're picky, I do think that you're going to maybe have to adjust your tastes a little bit to get used to the VertuoLine if you're going to be using that machine and getting used to using it in your own at-home coffee shop. Let's talk about two distinct differences real quick between these two machines. First one is temperature. On the Lattissima Plus, we got a pretty consistent temperature of about 160 degrees, whereas on the VertuoLine, we got about 140 degrees. That's a pretty big difference, and I also noticed that the temperature from the VertuoLine dropped very quickly to about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you like a hotter brew, you're going to get that from the Lattissima Plus. Second thing to mention is acidity. There is definitely a distinct difference in the acidity between the brews between these two machines. The VertuoLine is much more acidic, and I can tell you that from having just tested multiple times and multiple different capsules, things like that. The VertuoLine, just simply the acidity, the strength is just a lot more prevalent coming from the VertuoLine. And that may be something that you like, but if you're very used to your common shot of espresso, I think you're probably going to lean more towards the Lattissima Plus, and honestly, I lean a little bit more towards that myself, because on the VertuoLine, it was just a little too acidic. It was a little too strong. The flavor kind of came a little bit off to me, in all honesty. Again, that's going to depend on your own tastes and what you like the most out of a shot of espresso. So what's my bottom line between the VertuoLine machine and the Nespresso Lattissima Plus? My bottom line is that if you are looking for a machine that's going to make your friends go ooh and ah, and has some cool bells and whistles, but is a little bit restricted, the VertuoLine is for you. And if you're looking to be right on the bleeding edge of all the new cool stuff that Nespresso is releasing, again, the VertuoLine is going to be for you. But it's a little bit restricted. You don't get as many beverage types. If you want a lot of different beverages. You want some flexibility, especially with the capsules that you can use and the number of different flavors that you can get from your espresso that you're going to brew. You're going to want to go for the Lattissima Plus, excuse me. Overall, I would have to say if I was going to add one to my own at-home coffee shop, I would lean towards the Lattissima Plus, because I really do like to have that flexibility between the two. But ultimately, of course, it's going to be your decision, and I hope that what we've shown you guys here today is going to help you to make that decision. Of course, we have video overviews about both of these machines that go very in-depth into their operation, and we've got some recipes as well, so you'll want to check out our other videos here on Aromacup.com so you can find out some more information. As always, if I've missed anything, if you have questions, comments, anything else, please feel free to leave them here in the comments on this video. Of course, visit us on Aromacup.com where we'll be happy to talk coffee with you. As always, guys, I'm Brian, coming to you from Aromacup.com. I want to say thank you for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. Enjoy your cup, and I'll see you next time. Take care.